Welcome back, everybody. Johnny Ventola joins the show. He's got a unique career. He's a pilot. Not many people can say that at this age. So, Johnny, appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. Happy to be here.
No doubt. So, what got you into flying when you were young?
So as a kid, I've traveled a lot, with my parents, with my mom, and, I've just always loved it. And when I was about 15, my parents got me a discovery flight at Manchester. And, basically I just went up with an instructor and absolutely loved it. Just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And after that, I just decided that I was going to keep going, do the ground school stuff and pass my tests and go for it. So, yep.
Pretty cool. So, when you get involved at a young age like that, what opportunities are there for you?
Opportunities in flying. I mean, when you reach 17 years old, you can actually get your license, and that allows you to take passengers up, which is that's the goal, at the end of the day for most people, or at least the first of many goals. But at 16, you can fly alone, which is very exciting. I mean, opportunities. There's so many opportunities in aviation, including volunteering as a pilot and helping. There's just so many There's lots of opportunities, I would say. Yeah.
Talk about the classes that you took and how that might be a little bit different from classes you would take in school.
Yeah. Classes as a pilot, a lot of it is online. You learn online and then you meet with your instructor, to make sure you have that information in your head. But I did it over the summer. You're always learning when you're flying, but in terms of that ground knowledge that you need to have, it was a course that I took, I think it was about 50 hours that I did to that, and then took the test. But when you compare that to school, it really it's quite different. 'Cause this one, if you don't know that information, if you cheat, if you cheat it, or if you memorize things, like you can do that in school and it's not really a big deal, but it becomes a safety issue when you do that as a pilot, and you really need to know everything that you're studying, like truly know it. So.
Yeah, I hope you didn't cheat because I went up on a flight with you. Luckily, we're both okay.
Yeah, we both survived, so I would say
Yeah.
I didn't cheat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't think you would. So yeah, I mean, you were able to move on and get your student pilot. Just talk about that and the process of that.
My student pilot
Yeah.
certificate. Yeah. So, that was when I was 15 years old. I got my student pilot certificate. That was after my discovery flight, and that basically just allowed me to, start flight training, go up with an instructor, log flight hours, just be taught like the basics of flying pretty much. That also lets you solo, which I did, the day after I turned 16 actually, cause you can only do it when you're 16 years old. So I did it day after my birthday. And, that was probably one of the craziest experiences I've had flying. I mean, it was just my instructor getting out of the plane and me going up, and it was wild. It was one of my best experiences of my whole life, I'd say. So, as a student pilot.
Were you nervous?
Yes. But I was very nervous. But the second the wheels left the ground, I was nervous, but I wasn't like freaking out or anything. I knew that I was in control of the plane, and I felt safe. I felt very safe up there. So, even though I was alone for the first time.
So, when were you able to get certified to have passengers?
Yeah, so on May 20th of 2024, I became a private pilot at the Pease Portsmouth Airport. And I basically took a check ride with Pat Curtis. But he's an examiner, and it was about a 7 or 8 hour day. And the whole day was testing. So I got to the airport in the morning, and it was already a rough start to the day. It was very cloudy. We didn't know if we were going to be able to make it to Portsmouth because we flew there. and I was just nervous. I was a bit nervous because it's a very expensive day. I believe he charged $800 for me to take the test. And if you fail, you have to pay another $800 to take the test again. And so it was a lot of nerves that day. And yeah, but it started off with I believe it was 3.5 hours of talking. And that's what that's called the oral exam. And so it's just talking to him for 3.5 hours where he's grilling you, asking you questions. And then after that, he told me that I was good. I passed that part. And so we went flying. And the whole time I was just, very focused. But after that, I landed and he said congratulations, and I was a private pilot. And that was, after that, I logged my first pilot in command hours and flew my instructor home for the first time. So that was a very exciting day. So.
That's really cool. I got to fly with you last summer. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had fun. You can talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, that was a very fun flight, actually. And you were one of my first few passengers, I'd say. I think you were number 3 or 4. And so I'm really happy that you came up with me, as a new pilot. Some people are scared to do that, but you weren't. You were not scared. But we went to Portland. We went to Portland.
We went both.
Maine. Actually, we did. Yeah. Yep. We went to Portland and Portsmouth. That was a lot of fun. Saw the beach. Just overall a great flight. I mean, it was fun. And you got to fly.
Yeah.
So that was good.
That was pretty cool.
You got to put your aerospace engineering test to the skills to the test. There you go. But yeah, that was a great flight. So
I had a lot of fun with that. I was glad I was able to go up with you.
Mm-hmm.
So Portsmouth, Portland, one port away from Portugal. Maybe we'll do that someday.
There you go. Yeah, when I'm on the big airliners, we'll do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can talk about some of the classes you took in school. I know Mr. Christie was one of your favorite teachers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you got to take some really cool classes the last couple of years.
Yeah. I also took aerospace engineering, and that was definitely an interesting class. I know we've talked about it a bunch, and you guys focused on gliders, which sounded very interesting, and that's what I was expecting going into it. But we focused more on rockets, which was very interesting, but a little bit. It wasn't what I was expecting. I'm not going to school to focus on rockets. I'm going to school to focus on things like gliders, more like gliders, planes, so, but it was still a very fun class. And Mr. Christie is a very, very good teacher who lets you, kind of just discover things on your own while still being a very good, he's just very helpful, but not like strict, and like, he's not just towering over you the whole time, making you do everything. So.
Yeah, and then you had aerospace, and then you got to take engineering design and development. Yeah,
engineering design and development was definitely an interesting class. It was my project didn't come out quite as well as I had hoped, but I think that's also one of the big parts of that class is building, like choosing to build something and then building it, and then realizing that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not always perfect on the first time. You have to keep making iterations of it,
right,
and building on it. Like your bobsled. So I remember when you were doing that. That was fun.
That was very fun.
Hearing about that was always good. But yeah, I mean, that honestly, all of Mr. Christie's classes, including intro to engineering design. Yeah, ED. That was also a very good class. They've always been just a lot of fun, and he makes some great classes for sure. Yep.
Okay, so you had to think about college and where you wanted to go. What factors led into that decision?
Yeah. Well, ever since probably before high school, I've wanted to go to Embry-Riddle, and that I've just always loved that school. And up until recently, when I decided to go to Florida Tech, I they're very similar schools, I would say, and um, I like the way. Well, first of all, they're about an hour away from each other, so they're both in Florida on the coast, um, and they just have similar ways of teaching, but Florida Tech is at a smaller airport, and it's a little more personal. The teachers there um, are a little bit more involved, I would say, in the all aspects of it, the flying, but also um, for your major, like classes, just regular old classes. It felt more like a environment that I want to be in. That's a little bit more personal, and you get to know people better. It's smaller.
What's the name of your major?
I'm going for aviation business management. So the reason that I went for that is because I was going to go for aeronautical science, and that one is more focused on the technical stuff for flying, which is what I want to do. But everything relies on your medical certificate when you're a pilot, and if you can't get your medical certificate for some reason, it's good to have backup. So business is something that I think is a great backup, as it's not just business per se. You can own. I mean, I guess you could own like a flight school or go higher up in an airline and get their more technical like side of it. Not technical, but the business. I guess the business side of it. Not flying, but managing people, pilots and stuff like that, and just managing at the airline instead of flying for them. So that's why I chose business management instead of aeronautical science, mostly as a backup. So
Very neat. What do you want people to know about you and flying and your path and everything that they might not?
know about me and my flying path. Well, I guess to sum it up a little bit, now that I'm a private pilot, I've been just getting my hours in, and so I have about 100 hours of flight time right now, which is, it's okay. It's pretty good. For me, or for where I'm at, it's a pretty good number. But to get to the airlines, you need, 1,500 hours. So I still got a long ways to go, but, that's what I'm gonna be doing at college. And the end goal is my airline transport, pilot certificate, which will allow me to fly for the airlines. Yeah, after college, my college offers, career pathway programs, and, um, there is one for JetBlue as well as United, and those are two of the airlines that I would say, in terms of, just the way they are, like how they treat their pilots and their passengers and their flight attendants and just everyone who works for them. Uh, two airlines that I look up to, mostly JetBlue, and so I'm hoping to fly for JetBlue uh, when I get out of college and take their pathway, and yeah, so that's what I hope to do after college.
Really cool. What about the companies is different from the other ones?
Yeah, so as a passenger right now, mostly, I'm not a pilot for JetBlue or United, obviously.
Right.
But I've flown with both of them, and compared to the other airlines, I just feel like it's a better experience. I've noticed, nicer flight attendants, easier, uh, it's just easier when scheduling and changing flights, like um, with their, uh, I don't know, the user interface, I guess, and just the people behind the scenes when you call them, it's just a better experience. And I want, as a pilot, eventually down the road, I want to fly passengers that feel respected by their airline that I'm a part of. Um, and instead of if you're flying like a pilot for Spirit Airlines, like no one really wants to be on Spirit Airlines. I want people to want to be there and feel respected and comfortable, and you know what I mean? That's kind of just the way that, I'd want to be represented as a pilot, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let me throw this at you. Where do you want to fly in the world that you haven't gone yet?
Well, personally, I really want to go to Italy. That's at the top of my list right now. Somewhere in Italy, just exploring it. I would love to eventually have that be my route, that I fly, somewhere from the United States to Italy or just Europe in general. I think it's such an amazing place after going to France. And just would love to explore that more. So that's where I'd like to fly.
Pretty cool. Advice for younger pilots.
Advice for younger pilots. Oh gosh. Well, if you look at the statistics, many student pilots never get past student pilots. I don't know the numbers, but it is a very, very high percentage. So I would say, as someone who paid for my whole license, I didn't get help from my parents, money wise, on that side of it. Obviously they supported me a lot, in other ways, but, having your finances in check is very important, because running out of money in the middle of flying is a very real thing and a very bad thing. It'll stop you dead in your tracks. But also, just not getting burnt out. If you fly every single day for a year straight, it's not going to be fun anymore. It'll just feel repetitive. You want to make sure it stays fun. I love going up. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I still love every time I go up because I'm not doing it every day. You can't get burnt out. That's the same thing for anything in life. You don't want to do anything every single day for the rest of your life because it'll get boring. So gotta switch things up. So.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Johnny. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Please subscribe to the channel. It helps out a bunch and is completely free. Thank you.